So somebody wanted to know what's the difference between a superior oblique palsy, which is a weakness, versus an inferior oblique overaction. And the short answer is when you have a palsy of one muscle, its direct antagonist is going to overact because there's tone on these muscles. So if you've got the eye muscles like this, here's the eyeball, both eyes. When you have the muscles, the extraocular muscles, horizontally that's the medial and lateral rectus, and vertically superior rectus and inferior rectus, and then you've got the obliques, which are going to be obliques in their insertion. So each of these muscles has an agonist, a yoke muscle in the fellow eye that helps the two eyes move together in the same direction. So the medial rectus of one eye, for an example in the left eye here, the left medial rectus is going to be yoked with the right lateral rectus so that you can look to the right. These two muscles are agonists. However, the ipsilateral medial rectus is the antagonist to the right lateral rectus. It's doing the opposite. And so when you have a weakness in one muscle, its direct antagonist will appear to overact. So when you have a sixth nerve palsy, right lateral rectus is weak, the eye will be esotropic because the ipsilateral antagonist, the medial rectus, is unopposed, and therefore the eye will be turned in like this, esotropia. And the same thing happens with superior oblique palsy. So if you have a left superior oblique palsy, like a left fourth nerve palsy, you can't depress because the superior oblique is a depressor, and therefore its direct antagonist, the inferior oblique, will appear to overact. So this overaction is from weakness, the palsy. That palsy creates a secondary overaction. So a secondary overaction is inherently present in patients who have palsies. The other type of overaction is primary overaction. And primary means you never had a palsy. And that only happens when you have a miswiring problem, when you have a congenital strabismus. So those produce patterns and deviations in children. And so you need to be able to differentiate what's a secondary overaction from a palsied antagonist from a primary overaction. You were born with that and it was miswired from the start. And so what's the difference between a superior oblique palsy and an inferior oblique overaction? The difference is whether it's primary or secondary. And secondary overaction occurs every time you have damage to an agonist and its antagonist when you have a palsy.